Let's just get this on the audio and the video. Just your name and permission to film you.
Name's Chase Moser, and yes, you have permission to film me.
Alright, so this issue is the gun debate that's going on in our country. There are various aspects that we'd like to ask you about, but first we'd just like to get a general sense of what you believe in this issue and what you think's going on.
So when it comes to gun control, I feel like there should be more gun control in our country. I feel like just the whole, saying, oh, don't do that because it won't make a change type deal is kind of dumb. I still feel like you should have gun control.
Alright, do you think that, or do you believe that in total regulation and making sure that we get the guns out of the hands of everyone that doesn't expressly need it?
I would be saying, necessarily, I don't really know how to say it. I kind of like the way the UK does it, which if you don't know, it's basically like there's no you can't just go and buy a handgun or buy a rifle. What you are able to have is like bolt-action rifles that are you're only legally allowed to carry at a shooting range, and for that purpose only. That may be hunting, although there's alternative weapons or alternative things you can use for hunting.
Alright, now we're just going to present arguments from, say, the other political spectrum, or arguments against regulation, just to sort of present this to you. So, a lot of people have been saying that it is better to arm the teachers or to bring security officers to the school to make sure that it's secure. What do you think about that?
I don't think we should be arming teachers. I feel like fighting fire with fire, or in this case, terrorism with terrorism, is not a good idea. I feel like it's better to just restrict guns so you don't have to worry about teachers trying to protect kids' lives by taking another life.
Alright, but what about security officers? Like, not
security
teachers?
officers, I'm more open to the idea of security officers. I still think we should have stricter gun laws. Where I used to go to school in Arizona, we had security officers on the elementary school campus. I feel like that might be better than arming teachers.
Alright, well, do you believe that, or, these criminals that, can get guns anyway, do you think that regulation will really accomplish anything?
I do, because a lot of ways these criminals are getting their guns are through perfectly legal ways. Sure, there are ways to get guns illegally, just like there are in the UK and other places around the world, but it's proven that by restricting gun laws, by having stricter gun laws, crime and deaths caused by guns and shootings have dramatically increased. So even though people are saying that, oh, you can still get guns illegally, it won't make a difference, it's been proven that it does indeed make a difference.
Alright, well, it's clear that, your and our generation is being more vocal about this issue that's coming up. Do you believe that, we have the ethos that adults have, or do you believe that, we're kids and that we should mainly stay out of the issue?
I feel like we have plenty of ethos given the fact that it's our lives on the line. Who is it to say that adults have more authority on the issue, and adults have more authority on the issue of gun control and whether or not our kids can feel safe in school when it's our lives that are in danger and we want to be safe.
Well, do you think that just means you're too emotional to handle it?
I don't think it's that we're too emotional. I feel like if it was too emotional, I'd be getting angry or outraged. But just looking at it from a logical standpoint, I want to protect my life. I want my friends' lives to be protected. And there's better ways and safer ways to do it than arming teachers, or the ways people are trying to go about it right now. Much more efficient and logical ways to go about it.
Alright, final question. So you say that you're not feeling outrage or anger. What is it that you would say that you're feeling about this issue?
What I'm feeling about this issue is not necessarily outrage or anger, but more of I'm just kind of tired of the fact that this is still an issue. I want to be able to feel safe at school, or safe going to LGBTQ plus rallies or anything like that, and not have to worry about it getting shot at.
Would you like to just know one quick little funny thing that's happening? Just
Sure. Go ahead.
we might put this in a blooper reel. So the NRA is having Mike Pence talk about guns, and they're they're banning guns from the actual event in order to deter a violent affair.
So it's like, yeah, just talk about guns, but we're not going to allow guns in, so you don't have to worry about getting shot by guns. Yeah, it's kinda...
Thanks a lot, Chase. So, just quickly for the camera, can you just say your name and give us permission to film you?
Jerry Yang, you have my permission to film.
All right. So right now there's the gun debate going on. Do you want to, just before we get into real big questions, we'd like to just know your general opinion or thoughts on the matter.
Well, my stance on it is that I don't really have a definitive stance. Both sides are both credible, but I think both sides sort of misunderstand what the others are trying to say, and I think that's the main. I don't see this as a big debate. I see this more as confusion.
So do you think that the confusion is from a partisan issue, like just because it's coming from the other side of the aisle?
Not exactly. I see what the left does not understand about the right is that the right generally agrees with the general outlier with common sense gun laws, like yes, tougher like background checks and all that stuff, but the disagreement comes from where the fine print. Let's say there's a law to protect trees, and in the fine print it says you have to go kick a baby every day. It's like, no. The part where...
the liberals want to kick babies?
No, they do not.
Okay.
Like the fine print disagreement is where what defines some sort of things that the right is more afraid of, like they might broaden it, and I think that's just, yeah.
Okay.
Disagree with you.
So, I don't really have many definitive questions for that sort of position. Thank you for your time.
All right.
All right. So, just to start us off, could you just give us your name and permission to film you?
I'm Morgan Moriarty. You have permission to film me.
Alrighty then. So this is the gun debate, as the whole thing is going on. Just before we start asking questions, we'd like to get a general sense of your position on the issue.
I am pro-gun. I think people should have a right for self-defense and against a tyrannical government. My beliefs is, well, I was raised up with a police officer as a dad and a grandpa, so I'm very pro-gun.
Alright, well, we live in a very liberal county, a very liberal area. Do you feel that your opinions are sort of suppressed in any way, or feel like...
I don't think that my opinions are suppressed. I think that everyone is very democratic and does not like guns. I think everyone should be allowed to express their opinions.
Alright. So there are a couple arguments that I'd like to bring up, one of which is in order to help cut down on school shootings, people want to bring in a security officer to the school or to arm teachers with guns. What is your position on that?
I don't think we should arm teachers at all. I think we should have a designated person who is trained in firearms and just is a pro at that and can protect our schools.
Alright, well in the Florida shooting, they actually had a security officer, but he wasn't able to do his job out of fear. Do you think that the same thing could happen, or what is the counter to that?
It could happen. My defense is that guy was a coward. He's a horrible human being.
A horrible human being.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think that, or what do you think that there's a solution to the gun issue, that there'd be more regulation, less regulation, just leave it as it is?
I think, honestly, I think it should be left as is, because everyone should be adapted to California's standards, at least. Because in California we have a 10-day waiting period, and we also have background checks. And everyone harps on the fact that, oh, we should have a lot of background checks and stuff like that. I've gone, or my father and my grandfather go through this rigorous task of applying and getting a firearm, and I've seen it last as much as 2 months. So it's pretty hard.
All right. And this will be the last question, unless you have anything else that you want to say. What do you think of people who sort of generally create this uproar? Because a lot of this is coming from our generation, sort of stepping up to the plate and being vocal about the issue. Do you think that we have a say? Do you think that people might be disagreeable or emotional?
Everyone has a say. But I think before people debate on what, like, before they form an opinion, they should know what they're talking about. They should probably go through the system and see how hard it is to actually acquire a firearm. It's pretty hard, you know?
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.